When it comes to meditation, most people tend to think of bald guys who are monks, or a bunch of hippies who are thinking about how cool Zen is like. And then there's some of us who think of the Dalai Lama and Richard Gere. And from my personal experience, I've done meditation, I've tried. First time I meditated, I unfortunately fell asleep. And I always told myself, meditation is just for holy guys who are super religious, they want to achieve something. But then as I did more meditation, as I met more people who did meditation for decades, I began to suspect that there's a correlation when it comes to being healthy. For example, I know one person, he's actually a monk, he's over 80 years old. However, when you meet him, he speaks and acts like someone who's 60 years old. For example, he does martial arts every week, he does yoga, and often he goes out for a walk by himself. All this, and he's over 80 years old. My grandparents haven't even reached 80, and they couldn't even do that when they were 65 years old. So, I did some research, and recent studies show that meditation does actually have health benefits in addition to mental benefits and spiritual relief. Today I'm going to prove that meditation can improve your lives, especially for students. It originates from various religions, and it has physical health benefits, and it will definitely help improve your lives. First thing, Michael Ireland, who has a PhD from University of Queensland at St. Lucia, talks about the origins of meditation. Meditation dates back to the 3rd century BC. That was back when Hinduism and Buddhism began to flourish in India. I'm pretty sure most of you know that these religions are usually associated with meditation. And the meditation that they use is mainly for spiritual development. For example, with Buddhism, most people meditated because they felt that by meditating, you can release yourself from suffering, and this suffering will help you awaken yourself to realize that your life will become better, and that eventually you'll end the cycle of rebirth. And this meditation is actually accomplished through manipulating your breathing, your posture, and the state of consciousness. I'll give you an example. When people see meditation in media, usually they think that it's somebody sitting down with their eyes closed and just making a hum noise. However, that's wrong. The correct meditation posture actually involves you sitting down with your back straight. It involves your hands right in front of your belly button, and your eyes are actually not closed. Instead of being closed entirely, it's actually halfway closed. And one of the examples is that you're supposed to focus on one object. For example, if I were to meditate here, I could focus on the camcorder with my eyes halfway open. And basically, I would try to concentrate on that and make sure that my mind enters the state of consciousness where I'm focusing only on that. And this is the type of meditation that was used back then up to now to try to free yourself from whatever suffering you feel that you have to reach the awakening or enlightenment. Secondly, in Women's Health magazine, I'm not sure if most of you read it, but there's an author named Laura Beale. She began to talk about the physical health benefits of meditation. And one of the things she mentioned is how through meditation, it will increase your alpha and theta brainwaves. Now, most of you are probably wondering, what the heck is an alpha and theta? Is it fraternities, sororities? No, it's not. It's basically, by increasing these brainwaves, it helps you relax. Especially considering that most of us are students who are going to have finals within the next week and the following week, and also some of us have jobs as well. So by increasing these brainwaves, it allows you to relax. Also, meditation helps build the brain hubs for compassion and fear. In relation to the speech earlier today about how some students might go on campus shooting other people, by meditating and increasing the brain's hubs for compassion and fear, it actually helps you build more confidence. And also, meditation increases activity in the parasympathetic nervous system, which controls the rest and digestive system. Basically, this helps you fall asleep, and it indirectly helps you control your weight. Additionally, I want to mention that meditation actually helps drop blood pressure. America probably has one of the highest rates for heart diseases, so by doing meditation, you can actually lower your chances of having heart disease. Third, I want to mention how in Taiwan in 2009, they did a research with 242 junior college students, just like us. And I found this through EBSCOhost. And they did an experiment with students who are 19 or 20 years old, and they have a control group, and a group that, an experimental group. And basically they discovered that the ones who actually meditated, their average mental health and physical distress symptoms actually decreased from the 7.33 points to 6.64 points. And in addition to what I mentioned about the physical benefits, these students reported that when it comes to dizziness and constipation, it actually reduced, and also they had less insomnia, so it actually helped them focus better in school. And I wanted to mention that the reason they did this study in Taiwan was that in Taiwan, a lot of college students have a lot of stress due to high competition, and a lot of them actually commit suicide because their parents are always telling them they should do really well, that they have all of this time ahead of themselves. It's not like America where there's more opportunity. Over there, it's very stressful because once you screw up, it's almost the end of the game for them. And also, due to the meditation that these students did, they were able to cope better with negative things. So today I have told you all how meditation can improve your lives. I've talked about the origins of meditation, of how it was originally used for spiritual development through Buddhism and Hinduism. Even now, some other religions use meditation. Also, I mentioned how it affects you physically, how it affects your mind, which eventually will affect your whole body. And also, I mentioned how it actually benefits the students directly. Today, I hope you all learned a lot about meditation, and hopefully we can all use it to benefit ourselves. Thank you.
Shut up.
Yeah. Sorry.
So you see me always hitting it. And yeah, I always kept hitting it too.
Well, Daniel's not here, so I guess I'll just go ahead and get started. Brian, I kind of enjoyed the mocking visualization that you have at the beginning as your attention device, and you've got a good personal story that goes along with it. I do think it's a little bit strange, though, because later on when you're describing meditation, I think a lot of it fits into the very things that you were talking about at the beginning. Maybe not the part where people are chanting, but the part where they're sitting still, their eyes partially closed, and their hands in their laps. I think you basically described what a lot of people do at the beginning, that you said at the beginning, that you're kind of mocking a little bit. You do have a good statement of your goal. It seemed awkward to me because it felt like right before you got to the statement of your purpose, you actually had the preview of what the contents was going to be before that. And that's not automatically a bad thing to do, but it is a little awkward, especially when you're then making your transition into the first point, and the first point is really more of a history lesson. And to me, that the history lesson part, that should have been in the introduction, and then I kind of like that. I would trade places with that and the preview thing that you had, so I think it would be a little bit smoother. The descriptions, like I said, are pretty complete. You've got some good information there in the speech. You're pretty good about citing it, although there's one point where You did mention that you got information from EBSCO That's like saying I went to the library and found information. That's not really a source citation. The women's magazine that you cited, Women's Health, I thought that was a little bit more appropriate as an example of a source citation. I did think that we needed some of that information on the blood pressure, for instance, and showing that would have an effect on heart disease. It seems to be just a general assumption here without the particulars. On presentation, I think you model exactly some of the things that you're talking about when you're speaking. Your voice is calm, it's fluid, you're very direct to us, you never sound like you're anxious or out of control. So I think that people listening would say, you know what, maybe there's something to this because he sounds like he's very calm and in control and all those kinds of things. You're doing a good job there. Your eye contact with the audience is excellent. I do think, once again, I may have mentioned this before to you, you have a tendency to focus on this part, the center part of the room, which is right in front of you. Don't forget the edges too. They're part of what's going on. Even if they are napping or texting or whatever it is that happens to be going on, you need to try and include them a little bit more if they are doing those kinds of things. I swear what I'm going to do someday is I'm just going to set up a second camera in class at the front of the room to check the audience. And then afterwards, I'm going to watch the whole thing again. And every time I see somebody pull out an electronic device, I'm going to take away a point here. And every time I see somebody put their head down on the desk, take away a point there. And every time I see somebody make a face at you and try and tease you and get you to laugh in the middle of your speech, I'll give them 5 bonus points.
That's what I do. Camera, I'd be making.
All right. Thank you.